Is Attack on Titan coming back with a second season? No. But we have something better, even better for you.
Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. Roll the clip. What's up, guys? Today we did a first impressions video over Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. We watched the first 5 episodes of the series, and they only got 5 episodes out right now. Bummer. But today, went back, took some notes, and now we're going to give you a complete review, spoiler-free, of each and every episode that they got out so far.
And this is mostly our opinion. This is our first impression, our little review, the first impression of the anime so far, how we think it's going to go towards the future, and just some key things we think will get you guys interested in watching this anime as well, because, you know, quite frankly, I think both of us are indeed enjoying this anime right now.
Yes. Yes. It's too soon to say this is the next best thing, or whether or not it rivals Attack on Titan, but I can say that it was produced by the same studio that worked on Attack on Titan. With studios. So I mean, there might have been some influence, and I can kind of tell already in the episodes there was some influence taken from Attack on Titan that kind of helped build the story for the show. So let's get right into it. The first episode, it came out just full steam ahead. It like really grabs your attention. Like, you got so much action, so much is going on that you're hooked. I mean, the first episode, you're hooked. If you like that Attack on Titan type of anime, right? Because it's not really, it's not really like a One Piece where they got like a lot of comic relief. It's real kind of grimy, kind of dark.
Yeah, it has the same feel. It's very reminiscent of Attack on Titan, which I know a lot of the fans of that anime is going to enjoy that aspect of it.
Kind of dark.
Yeah.
Kind of grimy.
So it kind of like puts you right into that realm, right in the beginning, where you are kind of introduced to the Kabaneri and this world, basically.
Yeah, and I wouldn't, now after watching the trailer, I wouldn't be that quick to immediately call the Kabaneri zombies. Because they don't, as you guys will see if you end up watching the series, that they, their characteristics is not quite reminiscent of zombies.
Which, I mean, zombies aren't even like how they were before anyways. Like, do zombies even like try to go for like brains or anything? Zombies just want to eat you.
Right.
Really, I'll make sure that.
Like here recently, they kind of really modified the real, I don't know, how zombies are depicted. So maybe this is a modern revision of the whole zombie approach.
True.
So maybe that's, I don't know, maybe they are. See, the episode 2, it dives a little deeper into the main character and his whole approach on the zombies, the demon zombies. Like, his whole approach is he wants to understand them, whereas most people just want to kind of just build a wall around the city, which is reminiscent of Attack on Titan, and just kind of fight them off, kill them, shun them. It kind of has a few more characters are introduced, but not really much happens in the second episode. It's kind of toned down a little bit from the first episode, but nothing really pops off.
It's kind of like introducing, like, the main character's name is Ikoma.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of just like bringing you to him. Kind of like basically giving you a rundown of who he essentially is, but not really telling you the full thing.
Yeah, a little backstory. Just a little backstory.
Sort of. Like, you see him going to like his little workshop. So, you know, you can kind of tell from that aspect alone, he's kind of like the inventive type.
Yeah, personality.
Yeah.
Things like that.
So it just kind of gives you a little more on him before getting into the co-characters.
Right. And in the third episode, they bring out even more characters into the mix to where you can really get a full grasp of the different personalities that really live in that village. It's not just kind of a basic behind village. Like, it got like a lot of different characters.
Yeah.
And it's kind of dull. The third episode left a lot to be desired. Like it kind of you left that episode with more questions than you had coming into it, and that's kind of, I don't know, for me that's kind of whack.
Yeah.
Especially with it coming like episodes dropping once a week on Friday, it kind of leaves you like, come on, why are you gonna leave me with that many questions for a whole week? Like that's kind of whack.
And at that point, it was kind of going. You would probably be kind of going either way with the anime. Like,
yeah, I was.
At that point, part of you might be like, do I really want to keep watching this? And another part of you might, you're still gonna have those questions, so you're gonna want to keep watching to find out the answers to your questions.
Right. Episode 4, like, because episode 3 was kind of whack, and then like going into episode 4, I'm thinking, okay, so far you've done what you had to do to get me to come back. Now give me a reason to stay, and I can thoroughly say episode 4 does that. I don't want any spoilers in this video, but I will definitely tell you, if you can make it to episode 4, you will be happy that you stayed, because it makes it worth it. It makes it worth it. At this point, it's kind of like, let me see. I know I took some notes down because something did catch my attention. The story does get a lot more rich. And the what are the bad guys called again?
Kabaneri?
The Kabaneri, like they kind of seem just kind of one-directional, like a one-directional threat. But in episode 4, they kind of throw some extra into the mix to where you realize, like, hey,
it's totally reversed. There are levels to these Kabaneri.
Yeah, there's levels to it. Like, it's for what they're kind of presenting, just off of like the trailer and like the general, I don't know, diagnosis or diagnostic or whatever you want to say, the rundown of this anime that you might get off of reading the back of the box or Wikipedia. It seems kind of just real basic. You would think that the storyline's only deep enough to like make a movie, but in episode 4 and going into episode 5, they kind of dive into deeper aspects of not only the main characters, the antagonist and the protagonist, but they also kind of start throwing conflicts within the main character circle. So you kind of realize, like, hey, there's enough sustenance here to actually make a multi-series anime out of this story.
And episode 4 for me was kind of like where the hype really began.
Yeah.
Because like during that, so many things happened in the episode.
So much.
And when you watch this, you're gonna be like, usually animes you kind of wait until maybe somewhere between the 5th and 10th episode before it really kind of like really picks up. And I'm glad that this one kind of started it early. The 4th episode is pretty early for this anime. So I'm kind of happy that in that episode I was able to be like hyped for more future episodes. Episode 4 and episode 5 really hyped up the anime a lot more, and brought it to like a bigger I really can't think of the word, but it just brought it more. Is the word like vitality, something like that? Y'all know what I mean. It
gave the series longevity.
It gave it a more longevity.
Yeah.
Gave it a little bit more life for me to want to stick around and watch it week by week.
I can definitely say that. And one thing that I did notice is that some of the characters, the main character being one, since he's the main one, they don't really dive off into the other characters' backstory. But the main character, he kind of starts off really kind of weak, really kind of trash, like Sakura. But what I really like about this one is, opposed to Sakura, who she was garbage the whole first season, he's already showing character development within just the first 5 episodes. He's really like he's growing his development. He's working well with the other people in the village. Like they're using each other's strong aspects to complement each other's weak aspects, to where they're like, you can kind of sit back and kind of look at the characters like, man, they got a pretty tough crew. If they keep on working together like this, you know, they'll be chewing through those zombies like nothing. But then at the same time, episode 5 throws another twist into this already growing plot that the Kabaneri, they also working together pretty good too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to spoil nothing, but hey, them motherfuckers work together. They be anyway, no.
And I also like the other, like the co-main character, Mume. She's also,
Yeah.
in the same situation as the main character, Ikoma. And you'll learn that when you watch the anime. But I like her for the simple fact that in certain situations, it's almost like she has no empathy for anything. Like,
yeah.
At one moment she could be the nicest person, and then the next moment you're like, you're not gonna be like, what the hell? You're gonna be like rooting her on almost, kind of, because I mean, in some situations it's a rooting on moment. You're just like do it, because you just want to see that action. And when you do see her in action, it's amazing. Like
some of the trailers, the clips in the trailer show her in action. You can kind of see
that
glimpses of what we're talking about.
And when you see like the full thing, like, is dope to me, because like she is a skilled warrior. And
what's her name again?
Mume.
Mume and the main character Ikoma, they both are like battling internal conflicts. Like, she is a strong warrior, but she's fighting within herself over like who she is and what stance she actually wants to stand by. And Ikoma, the main character, he is weak as fuck, and he can't really like help himself, let alone anyone else. But he knows who he is, so he has a grounded sense of who he is. But he's trying to grow as a warrior. She's already a good warrior, but she's trying to grow on the basis of what she stands for. So they kind of, it's a perfect harmony. I can see them like definitely like making love in the future, like a couple episodes from now on.
Yeah, like, Ikoma, he's kind of like Hasuman said, he's struggling with wanting to help protect everybody,
right?
But at the same time, there's always that feeling inside that you won't be able to protect the people that you want to protect.
Yeah.
So
that sucks.
Seeing that, you kind of feel for him. You feel for a lot of characters in this anime. I mean, I can tell it's gonna have its moments where it gets very deep.
It will. Kind of like Attack on Titan, to where the main characters are kind of weak compared to the force that's against them, to where it's kind of like an overwhelming force, and they're like using like primitive behind weapons. And what weapons are they using in this one?
In this anime, let's start with
because it's kind of similar to the third-dimensional gear or three-dimensional gear.
It does look kind of similar to that.
Wasn't that based off of Steam?
Yeah. Sort of.
So
in this one they have that. Well, except for they don't use swords with it. They use these guns, steam-powered guns.
Yeah.
And they try to use those to stop the Kabaneri, because the Kabaneri have a layer of iron around their heart, and that's the way you have to kill it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So they definitely draw from Attack on Titans in a lot of aspects. So if you like Attack on Titan and you just want more of that, this is definitely a pacifying anime to go to kind of hold you over until they finally bring us season 2 of Attack on Titan. But if you don't really like that kind of dark, grimy anime, then you might not care for too much for this. But it's definitely a check out. Like, if you like that or not, I would definitely recommend to check this out. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it so far an 8.
I would say about 8 too, 8.5. That's where that's where I think the general consensus throughout all media and people that have watched it so far kind of landed.
Yeah.
And 8.8 is good. Like, that's very good for anime, because you've seen other anime that don't really do well.
Nah,
and so
trash. Trash.
An 8 is pretty good. And overall, where I think this anime is heading, it's going in a good path right now. Like, generally where I'm seeing it after watching these 5 episodes is, like, I can tell that the story's going to get deeper. there's gonna be a whole lot of more like battles on the grand scale that are gonna be amazing.
But hopefully they incorporate some more characters, because right now, as of season 5, there's only like 3 main characters. There's Ikuma, the chick, and there's this other dude who's like a samurai. But besides them 3, there's not really a grand like roster of warriors.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, they need to kind of expand on that a little bit more. But what made me give it an 8, like what my kind of scale, what I was rating it off of, was 1, the anime. The anime quality I think is like really nice. It's not rich like Final Fantasy, but you know that's very expensive for certain studios. So for this particular studio who did Attack on Titan, the anime was nice. The voice acting, some people might not care, but for someone like myself who has to read the subtitles and has to hear that, you know, the Japanese in the background, those voices, you know, they're not decent, that can get kind of irky. So the voice acting was on point. The anime is nice. The story is rich. It's not only something that's easy to keep up with, you don't get lost easy. It's also something that has enough girth to the story to where they can like, I can see them easily put out 3 seasons worth of content just off of the story that they've made so far. So I mean, just based off of that rating and them hitting like 5 stars in all of those categories, I give it an 8. So if you haven't checked this out, I would definitely recommend checking it out. And if you are watching it, I would definitely recommend sticking with it. Most definitely.
And now I do have a con for it, and this con is pretty simple. And the only real con that I have so far.
What is your problem with it? What is your problem?
I feel like the Kabaneri are kind of like things we've seen already. Like, okay, there's an enemy, there's a threat to the people in the race, and then this threat is obviously sort of overpowering, but then there's the hero character, and then the hero character is kind of like side partner, who are basically the saviors for this whole group of big conglomerate, town, village, whatever it might be, of people.
I can kind of see what Shells is saying a little bit. What he's kind of saying, I think he's saying, is that the storyline of this, or even Attack on Titan, is kind of
like
chewed up and spit out. Like it's kind of reused, rinse, recycle type story. There's nothing new. They're not really bringing anything like revolutionary to the scene, game changing, or nothing like that. For me personally, I'm kind of just old fashioned, kind of basic. I'm cool with that. I kind of like it. And my aspect is, you know, give me something I can relate to. Unfortunately, even though this is basic, it's something I can relate to. You know, if they were bringing something too game changing I couldn't relate to, then I would lose interest. But I can kind of see myself as in the main character's shoes, and because I have that point to relate with in this show, it gives me a reason to come back and see, okay, well, how does he handle that situation, or what does he do? You know, if that was me, I wouldn't know. I would probably handle it like this, but he's in that situation. How's he gonna handle it? So, it being familiar brings me back. Although it being too familiar, it can kind of seem like a wash, rinse, repeat type scenario.
Yeah, I just hope that they bring something, you know, a little more different, a little more extravagant to it, so that way it doesn't just fall into the pile with the rest of the animes.
You don't want to do
that are like it, and you just kind of throw it back, and it doesn't like linger in your mind as, oh man, that was an amazing anime that I watched.
Okay, yeah.
It just kind of falls into the, well, yeah, I watched that anime, but it's kind of like this anime. Like, I don't want it to have to start getting those comparisons, and even though we're already comparing it to Attack on Titan, but that's strictly off of animation and its likeness to it, because it really does have a likeness to Attack on Titan.
But that was our review of Kabaneri.
Our first impression.
Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress.
Yeah.
I'm Hassaman.
And I'm Shells.
We're not quite for sure yet what the next show is, but I'm thinking it might be Sakamoto Deska, which is a slice of life type anime. But that one is kind of a newer series that's jumping on the scene, and I think it has just about 5 episodes, which is our margin they have to meet for us to do a review over them. So I think that might be next. Kind of a change of pace, something a little more on the cheerful side. Till next time, this is Hassan Man. Peace.
It shows. Peace.